Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. Tonight we are back with a brand new review of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 6, Episode 2. If you are new here, then welcome. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Child, let's get into it. If we gonna get into it, please don't hesitate to like, okay? I'm gonna need y'all to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you get anything out of the content. All right, y'all. So everybody's still trying to figure out where Sing Sing is, right? So Ashley said, Sing Sing, hot box? Is this some kind of old lady code? Why that was so funny to me, I do not know. But that was hilarious. So then Mia said, hot box? I mean, I know hot pocket. Well, child, listen, I know hot box and hot pocket, okay? Because my son will tear a hot pocket up. Hot pocket? Honey, he'll tear it up. So then Robin said, Sing Sing, hot box, is that like a TikTok thing? Robin. Girl, no, it ain't no TikTok thing. So, as they get into it, here's Wendy. She's like, Robin, please, let the chef tell us what we're having on our plates. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all going through all this talking about a hot box, and Wendy is still trying to have a casual fine dining experience. Honey, that was sending me. Do y'all hear me? I was like, these heifers is crazy. So then the chef comes out. She tells them what they're eating. And after all this, they start eating, right? So Gizelle takes one bite of her salad and she goes, what's Sing Sing? Because you know you like to lie. So Karen looks up and said, look, I don't start with you, but I will finish it. Karen said, this is why they call you the first lady from hell. You're a liar. You're a liar. You are a liar. I'm like, oh my God, child, please leave Karen alone, girl. So then Gizelle looks at Mia and she goes, I'm so glad you're her friend because she needs one. So then out of nowhere, Mia goes, Karen, you know, I respect you. I came with you. I really love you, but I'm a really good judge of character and Gizelle has a good heart. Girl say, what now? Mia, honey, it's been all of 5 minutes, okay? It's given very much. I want Gizelle to like me. I know you probably watched this show and seen how she's hazed people in the past when they've come around and you feel like you got to go through her in order to make it. But honey, I do not know exactly what you got by sitting next to her as Karen tells her she has a hot box for you to think that she has a great heart. But honey, maybe they edited her heart out, child. I'm not sure. Karen said, oh, okay, just give her 5 minutes. She'll show her darkness. She had me fooled at first, too. Oh, my goodness. But she was like, so what's going on, Karen? So then Karen goes, you know, where it started for me was when she told Ray, after he told her she was attractive, she told Ray that he would be 6 feet under or something like that before she lost her beauty. So, you know, she wished death on my husband. Now, grand dame now, honey, you are my fave. I'm going to be Team Karen all day long. But now I can't be with you when you're wrong. Now, I do not think, this is my personal opinion, I do not think that Gizelle meant she wished him dead. I think what she meant was, even after he's gone, that she'll still be pretty. That's exactly what she meant. Now, grand dame now. Karen be saying anything, child. Karen said, you have no heart. She said, that was the beginning of the end for me. Karen, if you wanted to talk about the beginning of the end, you should have said when she came in there with that free Ray and free Karen, when y'all had those tax problems, that should have been the beginning of the end. Oh, Lord, my Karen. So then Robin said, well, why didn't you say anything then? So Karen said, my children were young and they were hurting. Karen. So the producers pan back to Raven and Brandon, right? Raven is 19 years old and Brandon is 27. I said, that daggone Karen, honey, I hollered. I mean, I laughed so hard, y'all. I cackled in here. Karen said, you know, what we're not going to do is we're not going to attack me. Now, Robin, honey, I know you trying to, you know, interject for your friend and whatnot because y'all come as a package deal and all this jazz. But, honey, you really should have just said this is literally what they mean by you should have just sat there and ate your food because Karen ate you up for dinner. Okay. So Wendy said, let's just let it stay between, you know, Karen and Gizelle. So Robin said, dang, it's crazy because this was the same lady that didn't like you last season. When you changed your body, did you change your personality as well? Well, I gotta say that Karen didn't like her last season, but that's no reason why she can't say things that make sense, okay? It should just be between the two of them. You always piping up, honey. Stop speaking your speech when it has nothing to do with you. But like Karen said last season, Robin doesn't have many moments. So I guess you needed to fit on in there, get in where you fit in, right? So Karen said, I'm the one that's walking down the aisle again. When is your wedding? She said, after COVID. And then she said, when's yours? Soon, in a protected environment where loved ones can come together in a real wedding, in a real relationship. Robin, please leave Karen alone, honey. When she said in a real relationship, everybody, even Gizelle, who don't even like Karen, had to stop and stare. I said, child, please leave Karen alone, honey, because she is quick with it and she will give it back to you. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see a war of the words between Karen and Nene Leakes. When I tell you that's a versus that we can use, honey, I will holler, child. Or between Karen and Phaedra Parks. Baby, when they get through reading each other back and forth and back, child, my wig will be slid all the way to the back, honey. She said, if you don't want to get married, just say that so you can hush and he can take that ring back to the pawn shop. Not the pawn shop, child. So then we see Wendy say, Robin, the chef is here. Baby, look, Wendy, please give it up with the chef, honey. These heifers is fussing. They going back and forth, and they want to get out what they have to say. We really don't care what's on the plate. Put it down and let them eat it, honey. The casual fine dining experience is over. So then Ashley said, well, if me and Karen can get past our issues, I really think anybody can. So Gizelle was like, nah, it ain't gonna happen, Captain. So Wendy said, let's not forget why we're here, okay? So then she stands up and she shows them her butt. So the girls were right. So Robin was like, well, when I asked you, did you get your butt done? You said no. She's like, I wanted to reveal it in my way. Okay. Mia was like, girl, are you that insecure that you have to disclose it after I said I had mine done? I don't think she was being insecure and disclosing it out. Wendy didn't throw this party right, okay? Everything about it was wrong, okay? The way the chef came out, it was wrong. The way you have to sit down and start acting up, it was wrong. Wendy just don't know how to have a reveal. That's just point blank in the period. So then she speaks her speech and passes out her booby cupcakes, and these heifers eat it and whatnot. In the next scene, when they get up to leave, right? Mia is like, hey, can y'all just put my number in your phone? She's schmoozing Robin and Gizelle at the moment. Wendy is like, Mia is not being loyal to her friend. She's forming her own opinion. That's what I think. I think she wants to get to know them and then see where it takes her. But honey, she'll learn. And when they turn on her, that'll learn her. Honey, just let her do her thing. Moving forward. Baby, Mia is a boss. She tells us about her business. This is the next scene, right? Her penthouse is 3,700 square feet with a balcony and a terrace and views of the harbor. Then we meet her family, right? And she said when she first met Gordon, the age gap was like, I'm really not feeling it because you're like as old as my dad. But then she quickly got over it. Honey, yeah, money will make you quickly get over some stuff, okay? She has 3 kids. The oldest is by her previous marriage. And the 2 youngest are with Gordon. So while they're in the kitchen and we're being introduced to the family and whatnot, Mia gets a call from Joy, which is one of her associates, and they're talking about this bridal line that she's doing. And while she's doing that, she's also making cupcakes with her daughter Juju, right? So she said Gordon used to be more active, but now he's home with the kids. Honey, exactly where the grandfather time should be, honey. And she's like, that's exactly where he wants to be. Where I wanna be. Shout out to Donnell Jones. She said now she's more in the front and she's more of the leader. Okay, girl. So then she gets off the phone because she's making the cupcakes and, birthing the babies and talking on the phone and all kinds of stuff. You think you could have taken that call afterwards? Juju was kind of getting busy and doing her own thing. Honey, this is what mothers do. We breastfeed at the same time while cooking dinner for the rest of the family. Then we sit down and run multi-million-dollar companies. That's what women do. Honey, don't try to stifle her. I didn't like that comment, honey. Go sit down somewhere, child. So Mia was like, well, it's perfectly fine. So then she looks at her daughter and she said, so she's like, Daddy is getting on my nerves. She said, who runs the world? Juju said, bad guys. Honey, touche. Juju didn't know nothing about the Beyonce, honey. She was like, I'm not finna say girls, honey. I don't know that song. Child. Candace has recovered from her irritable bowel syndrome, and she's acting at this pilot for a show that's being shopped around, right? And when I watched Candace in Family Reunion, she actually was really good. So I'm not going to say that Candace is not talented, because she is. She said, COVID showed her that you have to do it scared. And she said her goal right now is to be taken serious as an actress. So she's playing a stepmom in a blended family with plenty of ex-wives. And she's like, is this art imitating life, imitating art? And is, okay? So after she gets through with her little speaking part, then she gets a phone call from Chris to see how things are going. He's like, I took the kids to the park. I threw the ball up in the air, because y'all know Chris ain't got nothing else to do. And so she's like, oh, I have so much to do. I got to do homework. I got to fit in studio time. I got to shoot this pilot. It's so many things I have to do. I have so much on my plate. And Chris said, well, these are all things that you asked for. And you know what I love about Chris? He will put Candace in her place. He's not afraid to tell her, look, I don't want to hear it. You need to hush, stop the whining. He will quickly let her know he's her support system. But at the same time, he's a firm hand. And that's what Candace needs, honey. She couldn't have a weak man. She'll run right over him. So Chris said, yeah, she was saying that he's become her husbander. Chris said he actually became that by default, because, so he's saying, that he just basically was interjected, but he doesn't manage her career. He manages Candace in all of her moods. She was like, you moody as I am. Well, honey, you're two little mood rings. Moving forward, Ashley is at home with Dean, little cute self, and so her mom stops by, and they're talking about her and Michael, right? So she's like, how's Michael? How's he doing? Ashley was like, he's doing good. He actually takes my phone calls on the first ring. Oh my God. Ashley, honey, it's crazy for that to be such a good thing, okay? Because that should be normal. You're pregnant, anything can happen, but with Michael, honey, I guess you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. Ashley's like, now we have a part-time nanny, and at first I was like freaked out because I really didn't want anybody else with my kids, but then I had to realize that I had to do what's best for the babies. So her mom said, are you glad she isn't like a supermodel? Child, she could have been a manny, and Michael gonna be looking and trying to touch, and she don't have to look like no supermodel. Child, what are you saying? So she said, Michael just reminded me that if I don't want to suffer from postpartum depression like I did with Dean, then I need to get me some help. So then they started talking about her marriage and her sex life, right? Ashley's like telling her mom, yeah, I have a sex drive, but it's just not comfortable for me to have sex. She's like, but God gave me more than one hole. I wish I would sit up here and tell my mama that God gave me more than one hole, as if she doesn't know for one. And secondly, ill. Okay? Child, some things you should just keep to yourself. She was like, and I have to use it. Well, I'm sure he doesn't mind getting it in the one that stinks instead of the one that winks. Child, oh my God, it's just too much. She's like, yeah, we've been getting creative. She's like, I lay on my side, he do a little something, and, I do my little thing for him. Honey, Ashley is an oversharer. Ashley, I'm a visual person. I do not want to think about you laying on your side as Michael does what he needs to do. And we all know that that's his preferred method of entrance. Girl, I don't want to hear it. So her mom is like, well, when you're being pleased, we aren't looking for outside sources, are we? Child, just ask her if Michael is cheating. Is he cheating on you or no? Honey, it's a shame that while you are growing a life, you also have to worry about if your man cheating. It's getting ridiculous. In the next scene, we're at Gizelle's house, and Robin shows up in her Kia wearing a little furry vest, and then she comes in and we get a tour of the West Wing. It's actually bigger than it looks on the outside. And Robin is like, it looks great on the inside, but the outside is horrific. She was like, it looks like a house attached to another house. And does, okay? And some of the inside is questionable as well. Gizelle just breeds tacky. I mean, I hate to say that, but tacky decor, tacky fashions. Oh, how dreadful, honey. Shout out to Dwight from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But I was thinking to myself, not Robin shading Batman, honey. It actually, you know what the house looks like? It actually looks like what kids draw in elementary school. You know how when they tell you to draw a house and draw your little family on the outside, and you draw that triangle at the top and that big box at the bottom, and then you put a little few bushes and a few flowers on the ground. Gizelle house looks like an elementary school painting or an elementary school picture. I'm for sure that I have that same exact house that Gizelle lives in hanging up on my mom's refrigerator, courtesy of my son. Honey, I'm just saying. So then Robin said, you said you was going to christen that Versace comforter. So what happened with that? She was like, Mr. Bryant is living in the pandemic. She was like, well, what if the pandemic is over soon? She's like, it's not going to be. And I'm just convinced that he lives in the phone. Girl, call Karen and apologize, honey. She told you that last season and you didn't want to listen. Child, if my man does not quarantine with me, he got to go. Because first of all, my first mind would think if the two of you are a couple, COVID is shutting the world down, you would think that he would come from Atlanta to be with you and his daughters. It's not like he had to preach on Sundays because we were in the middle of quarantine. That just would have made more sense. But I guess she's finally come to terms with Jamal and his pulpit antics not being worth a hill of beans. Honey, Jamal is not the man for you, Batman. She's like, well, he'll always be in my life. Of course, you guys have children. And she's like, but the relationship is just not right now. So then Robin pipes up and she's like, yeah, I think they both just realized at the time spent apart, they were okay with that. And I didn't really feel like they were so in love anyway. So she's not shocked. She's like, the relationship was in the rebuilding stage. Honey and child, just like those two houses attached to each other, still rebuilding. So then the messy green-eyed monsters call Candace to fill her in on the mess. So they tell her that Wendy got her BBL but didn't reveal the other B and the L until after Mia revealed that she had her work done. So Candace was like, what? So then Gizelle said, oh yeah, you didn't meet Mia, honey. She told us that she got her boobs, her head, her neck, her back, my neck, my back. She got everything on her body done. And she let us all know that. She was like, even her clit. And so Candace was like, okay, I'm done, honey. I don't know what's happening, but I got to go because I got to get off this Zoom call because I have school. So then they said when she got off, Robin was like, yeah, and she always talking about hot boxes and this and that. And also she's always talking about Juan. Gizelle said, first of all, you just bought a house. Secondly, Karen will never buy a house and because she owes so much in taxes. Gizelle, we need to get you enrolled in Phaedra and Nene's School of Reads, honey, because buying a house has nothing to do with her talking about her relationship with Juan. And Robin stay owing Uncle Sam, honey, so I'm confused as to how that's a shady moment. So then she's like, Ray will die before she buys a house. Now you're being ignorant. Okay, the first time I gave you a pass because I was like, okay, she's not really saying that. She's trying to say I'm going to be pretty for the rest of my life. Even after Ray is gone, I'm going to be pretty. But now you're actually just saying things and putting him and death in the same sentence. That's why Karen eats you alive. Keep that woman's husband's name out of your mouth, honey. Karen is going to gather you at that reunion. Honey, I hope you got that wig glued down tight. Over at Karen's home with Ray, she's making the bed and she starts telling him about this party that she's going to throw. And she's telling him what happened when they were at Wendy's house. She's like, you know what? I think I might have went a little bit too hard on Gizelle. She said, I kind of feel bad because, she lost everything when she divorced him the first time. Then she let him back in and he duped her again. So, she feels like she may have gone too far. So Karen said, in her confessional that Gizelle is not actually mad at her. She needs to be mad at the person that drags her, which is Mr. Jamal. Honey, these are the facts. So Karen was like, so I want to throw a little party, a love lunch, and I'm going to extend an olive branch. I'm going to invite Gizelle. I'm going to invite Candace. And she's like, I'm going to throw this party and hopefully it will help her be happier. So Ray is like, well, inviting them should be an olive branch, so you should be fine. It's almost Valentine's Day, so that's a good time to do it, right? So Karen said, well, as long as I have your love and support, I'm good. She's like, I love you. He said, I love you too. So then he walks away. She said, Ray? He said, yes. She said, I love you. Child, Karen gonna wear that love you out. Now that Ray has finally started saying it again, because y'all remember last season, Ray was acting a little funny style with the I love yous. So I guess Karen wants to let us know, honey, this season, I love yous will be flying all up and through. Moving forward. Wendy is at home and her sister and her mom come over for dinner and they're eating authentic Nigerian dishes. And that food looks so good. I was like, oh, that look good, child. Let me try it, honey. And I love me some jollof rice. I love it. Okay. It was looking good to me. But then again, I'm a foodie. So they sit down to eat and her mom was like, my boobs are like flapjacks, just out of nowhere. I was like, oh my God. She was like, I want a boob job and all of you are going to pay for it. And if you don't, I'm going to sue you. Baby, Mama Joyce walked so that Wendy's mom could run. Baby, she said, I'm going to get me a boob job. You heifers are going to pay for it. And if you don't, you will see me in the court of law. Honey, I don't think it works that way. But y'all, whatever floats Mama's boat. So Wendy announces that she's like, I have an announcement to make. And they're like, oh, okay. She's like, I really love what I do, but I don't really think I'm just happy. So she's like, I really just want to start a home essential line. So then she brings out this candle and she gives it to her mom. And she's like, I'm really not passionate about that anymore. I'm more so passionate about candles. And I know that's strange. I'm like, child, Wendy want to be the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. Child, I'm not playing with you. Wendy says she gonna make her some candles. Well, girl, go on, set yourself off, honey. So her mom was like, I know this is America, and you know you do this and that and whatever it is you want, but I'm behind you. Wendy, I'm looking at this concealer. You need to blend that concealer in, honey. It's a fool, okay? It's just a fool. In the next scene, Ashley is on the phone talking about the placenta of it all, and then Karen stops by. Honey, Ashley is going to eat her placenta to avoid postpartum. And I never knew that was one of the benefits. I did hear that there were plenty of benefits, but I didn't know that was one of them. So Karen comes by. She was like, in her confessional, I had 2 kids naturally, and I never said hi to my placenta. Karen said, I said bye. I didn't want to bond with it. I didn't want to chew it. I didn't want to put it back in my body. She was like, I didn't want nothing to do with it. I understand you, Karen, because I'm the same exact way. But a lot of women eat their placenta. They say that it has a lot of benefits, and it also will aid you in breastfeeding. It's just so many benefits to eating it. But honey, me, myself, and I, no thank you. So Karen is stopping by to deliver her invite to the party. So they're talking, and Karen's like, in her confessional, I have to accept Michael because Ashley loves him, and she wants to build a family and whatnot. So Karen hit him with a, if she like it, I love it. That's basically what she's trying to say. So Ashley was like, we were wondering, when you were talking about Gizelle, what is Sing Sing? Karen said, oh, I looked it up and it's actually a prison in New York. I was drunk and I thought it sounded good with Hotbox. Karen, girl, you cannot just be stringing together insults, honey. That don't make no sense. Not Karen making up shade. It don't matter, girl. I still love you. Made up shade or not. Karen said, because I have a sense of humor. Honey, Ashley was looking at her like, when did that start? So then Dean starts crying and she goes in to get him from his nap, right? Ashley said, he's very discerning, honey. If he don't want to fool with you, he ain't going to fool with you. Child, as soon as he got out there with Karen, he starts hooping and hollering. Karen was gone in a flash, honey. And I was thinking to myself, Karen, you are going to be a hilarious grandma one day. Honey, Karen going to leave them babies right where they stand. They get to fussing, she going to be gone. But I wanted to say this. Ashley, just because he cried when he saw Gizelle, when kids just wake up from their nap, they have to adjust. They don't want to be talking and looking, honey. They're regular people just like me and you. They don't want to be talking and looking Karen in her face as soon as they wake up. That's probably why he was crying. In the next scene, Candace and her bonus daughter, they're getting home, and Naya discovered her Life is Like a Box of Chocolates invite, and they go in, they read it, and realize it's from Karen. So here comes Candace with the acting. I just can't move forward with someone, that's denying my pain. Candace, don't start that. Do not start that. Monique is gone, honey. You've been doing good. Just get the invite and go on about your business. So we know Gizelle gets her invite. In the trash it went. And of course, Robin isn't going anywhere that Gizelle is not going. Karen is preparing for her party. And Gizelle is over at home eating with her daughters, right? And they're talking about Grace getting her learner's permit. And then all of a sudden, Gizelle, of all people, said, let's talk about who to date. Gizelle, honey, you are the last person to give dating advice. She's like, let me tell you a little story. I was dating this drug dealer. So her daughter was like, well, did you go on drops with him? She was like, oh my God, no. Girl, why are you telling him about you dating drug dealers? Child, Gizelle ain't no rider like that. No, she definitely was not doing drops, okay? So she's like, you shouldn't date athletes, no rappers. Honey, make sure you throw in men of the cloth, okay? She's like, I dated an NBA player. He blew his knee out. He was all depressed. I had to go through the ups and downs, the highs and lows. And her daughter was like, that's the whole point. Gizelle, is this real? It's sounding real love and basketball storyline like. Honey, I don't know if this is really real. I mean, I know you can pull you an NBA player, but I feel like Jamal got you straight off the school bus. So I don't really believe you dated an NBA player. Girl, you just be saying anything, child. So her daughters are like, my dad could have been an NBA player. Honey, they'll do anything to get rid of Jamal. Anything. So her daughters were saying, you're not very good with emotional support at all. So then Grace said, your boyfriends are horrible. Your taste is trash. I was like, dang. She was like, they were like, you don't even know how to break up with someone. She said the girls know about her and Jamal and they're cool with it. Honey, they didn't want him anyway. Baby, they cleared Gizelle. They're the best part of her. Moving forward, Mia gets to the love party with her husband. The ladies introduce the men, and Ray lit up when he saw Mia. I'm like, okay, Ray, put my eyes back in the socket. The two men with their grays, they started talking about when gas was 25 cents, child. And Ray said, you play golf? Mia was like, well, when I met him when he was married to his third wife, he played golf all the time. Honey, Mia, let me find out you were the other woman. Girl. So then Wendy and Eddie showed up, all overdressed, honey, dressed for a night out. Meanwhile, Karen on the inside with the tracksuit on that's zhuzhed up just a little bit. They come in, the guys talk. Wendy said, is Robin coming? Karen said, no, she's not coming, and Giselle's not coming either. So Mia said, oh, but it's a couple's party, right? Child, not it's a couple's party. So Wendy looking at her like, not you just shaded Gizelle, but you was all in her face not too long ago. So then Ashley shows up, of course, without Michael. Honey, Michael was like, it's too soon, child. I'm not going nowhere where these heifers are. They start eating, and then Candace shows up, her and Chris. Candace says, coming proves that she can heal, but she's still hesitant. She's like, my back is still healing from the wound of stab. Candace, you are exhausting, honey. You are exhausting. Chris is like, you're fine, honey. You're fine. Poor Chris. He has his hands full with Candace. So once they come in, they embrace each other. Candace said she would love for her to see her new house. Basically, I want to brag a little. And then she gets introduced to Mia. So Mia was telling them, I had 3 C-sections, so no vaginal births. So then Wendy said, how old are you? She's like, I had to go back and look at my ID. I'm 36. Girl, you had to do what? Well, I guess when you've been lying so long about your age, honey, you got to go back and make sure everything's everything. So Ashley said, I thought that was the reason why you got the work done, because you gave birth. And come to find out, this heifer just moving things around down there for the hell of it. Mia's like, no, I had it because, me and my husband, we get into a little bit too much. Candace said, the bean is getting busted up. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all can say what y'all want to say about Candace, but the girl is funny, okay? Not the bean getting busted up. Girl, what kind of penis your man got? Child, I told y'all, beef curtains, honey, for all of y'all that tried to come for me in the comments. No, it's because when she gave, his heifer ain't gave no birth, honey. It's because of that. So Candace said, well, I heard you heifers was arguing. Karen said, well, this isn't about that. So Mia goes, yes, because you're a real boss. Wendy said, weren't you the one saying you were a good judge of character and Gizelle had a good heart? Your tone is changing. Mia said, well, when you wish death on someone's husband, I have to reevaluate. Karen said to see if we mish. If you don't mish, then you don't mish. So I was not mishing with her. Wendy, you and your 4 degrees aren't going to correct her sitting here saying mish. Girl, it is mesh. You made a mistake when you said Gizelle had a good heart. Girl, goodbye. So Wendy said, you don't think her character is good anymore? She's like, I didn't have to have that dialogue with her at first. Now she's just a pretty face. Wendy said, but you got her number after that. She said, I was just trying to enlighten the air. Child, Mia. Okay, Mia. Why are you stringing together these sentences and these words this way? Honey, I may have to pull out my red pen. Child, I cannot stand the way you are speaking right now. We didn't mish, and I'm just not mishing with her. I was trying to enlighten the air. You can't enlighten air. Girl, what are you talking about? So, child, I like Mia, but I don't like the way you speak, girl. Get your words together and speak your speech the proper way. So then Ashley was like, well, I would have my friends back versus someone I just met. So all the girls are on the same page, and I agree with them. So Mia said, well, why do you guys have a problem when Karen does it? So, Karen was just sitting there going along to get along. And Mia said, well, Wendy, you started getting snippy with me, which it all started, if we want to be honest, it all started when Wendy piped up on her at that dinner at her home. Okay, so now there's a little bit of tension between you and Mia because you started it, and that's just the truth. So Mia was like waving her hands in Wendy's face, and she's like, please get your hand out of my face. And she was like, well, it's in your face, and now what you gonna do? Girl, look, you just coming, honey. Please don't start that. This group does not do well with the wagging of the fingers in the face. Please place your hands in your lap or by your side. So then in the next scene, they start playing this game. It's like the newlywed game, and Ashley is going to be the MC. And the first question is, what is your favorite position? Candace and Chris said her on top. What do you like? Me on top. Shout out to the Brad and Tyrese. So then they continue, Karen and Ray. Karen said her on top. Ray said all of them. Wendy said doggy style. Eddie said doggy style. So 1 point for Wendy and Eddie. Mia said missionary, but then she had to ask Candace how to spell it. I'm like, okay, girl, you starting to get on my nerves. And G said missionary as well. So they get a point. Craziest place you've had sex. Candace said the kitchen sink. Chris said in Mexico on the balcony. See, this is why I'm never eating at anyone's home again. Child, you don't know what's kind of little secretions are lurking well. Ugh. So Karen said kitchen floor. Ray said kitchen counter, but they ended up on the floor, and that's how Raven got here. Wendy said in the park. Eddie said in the park after dark. Mia said the Waffle House, and G said the Waffle House bathroom. Girl, that's probably why you had to have that clit done. Something done crawled up in it, honey. The Waffle House restroom is disgusting. Honey, I barely want to eat inside the Waffle House at their tables. And y'all getting it in the restroom? Had to be drunk, honey. Had to be. Allegedly. Describe your relationship in one word. Mia said real. G said amazing. Chris said decent, because he was making fun of what Candace said at the reunion. And Candace said crazy. Karen said work. And Ray said great. Wendy said great, honest, and loving. And Eddie said loving. Wendy, you got 4 degrees, honey. All that education can't follow instructions. It said one word. But they're going to give y'all half a point because you kind of got it, but you added some extra zhuzh to it. The 4th question was, if your husband was attracted to one lady in your friend group, who would it be? Ashley gonna say, oh, I am so happy Michael ain't here. Honey, I am so happy Juan is not here right now. Because it for sure would have been Juan, honey. He sure would have picked him. So Wendy said, she looking at Eddie's little boy. She said, what does that say? He was like, it says something. He said it, but we couldn't understand it, right? She said, erase that. It looks like Mia. Baby, Eddie gonna get cussed out on the way home. I think he might have put N-A, but it looked like M-I-A. So she wanted him to fully write it out so that it didn't look like Mia. Because you know she got an attitude with Mia, honey. She don't want nothing that even remotely looks like the Mia in the slightest. So Mia and G both said Karen. Chris said Gizelle. I'm like, I knew he had a thing for Gizelle. I don't know why. He has questionable taste in women. Candace said Gizelle. Karen said Mia. Ray said Katie. So then they show a flashback of Katie and her tasseled tits jumping up and down. I'm like, Ray gonna be in the doghouse tonight. But what I really think Ray was doing was being strategic. I think he said Katie because Katie was not there and he didn't want to make any of the ladies feel uncomfortable. That's what I think he was doing. That was smart, Ray. Wendy said N-A and Eddie said N-A. Child, Wendy got him trained. Do y'all hear me? Mia said Wendy programmed him to be Team Wendy. Honey, as she should. Child, who don't want their husband to be Team them? She was like, I really think that Wendy's just intimidated by me and insecure. Duly noted. Okay, Mia, girl, it might be a little insecurity mixed in with the fact that your husband is supposed to be all about you. Okay, let's keep going. Where did you guys meet? Ray and Karen met at the Black Caucus. Eddie and Wendy met when they were 17. Now, Eddie was trying to get it out. He was like, I met her. She was like, when you're 17, show him your board. Sam, you 17. I'm like, dang, Wendy, let the man speak. Child, okay. This is probably going to be the introduction to why Eddie is stepping out, okay? So then we see Mia. She said strip club, and G said strip club. And they were like, the strip club? She was like, yeah, I was a bartender. Listen, the bartenders make bank, okay? If you were a bartender, that's cool. Everybody else thinks she was a stripper. If you were a stripper, that's cool too, honey. Bands will make her dance. Bands will make her dance. Shout out to Lil Wayne. Do whatever it is you want to do. And the winners are Wendy and Eddie. Child, they won by a landslide. But they also won because Wendy was checking everything that Eddie had to say. Child, and that was the end of the episode. Please do not hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This was actually a very good episode. Baby, they are coming in hot. This is episode 2, and I am thoroughly entertained. As always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.